Hello and welcome to NoCast by CMUBS, the podcast where knowledge meets inspiration. I'm your host, and I'm here to take you on a journey through ideas, insights, and stories that shape the world of business, research, and innovation. Each episode, we bring you thoughtful conversations, practical wisdom, and perspectives from experts and changemakers. Whether you're a student, a researcher, or simply someone who loves learning, this is your space to explore, grow, and stay inspired. Thank you for tuning in. Let's dive into today's episode and discover something worth knowing.
Let's head to northern Thailand, a place that, for many, is the very definition of paradise. But what happens when that paradise literally can't breathe? Today, we're diving into the story of how an invisible threat is choking the economy of one of the world's most beloved destinations. I mean, just picture it. A city known for its incredible culture, its stunning mountains, suddenly just gasping for air. And this isn't some what-if scenario. It's the reality in Chiang Mai every single year. It's a crisis that comes with a really steep price tag. So let's break down what's actually going on.
To really get what's happening here, you have to understand that Chiang Mai is kind of living a double life. There are two completely different versions of this city, and the only thing that separates them is the time of year. On one hand, you've got the postcard version of Chiang Mai. This is during the peak season, cool weather, crystal clear skies, mountains for days, and tourists everywhere. I mean, businesses are just booming. But then, the calendar flips, the smoky season rolls in, and the air gets thick with this gross haze. Those mountain views? Gone. Health warnings pop up, and those once packed streets become eerily quiet.
Now, this haze, it's not just some unfortunate weather pattern. It is a powerful and totally invisible threat to the economy. The thing causing it has a scientific name, but its impact is felt in a very real, non-scientific way. The bad guy in this story is something called small particulate matter, or SPM for short. Just think of these as microscopic bits of soot and dust, so tiny they can get deep into your lungs, even into your blood. It's like an invisible, toxic blanket that just settles over the entire region. So where on earth does it all come from? Well, the research points a finger at two main sources that kick this off every year. First, there's a lot of agricultural burning, where farmers cleared their fields for new crops. And second, you've got naturally occurring wildfires in all the forests surrounding the city. You put those two together and you've created the perfect storm of air pollution.
And this brings us right to the heart of the economic problem. See, tourism isn't just part of Chiang Mai's economy. In a lot of ways, it is the economy. So when the air quality tanks, the tourists, well, they just vanish.
And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, back in 2018, Thailand welcomed over 38 million foreign tourists. That is a massive economic engine. And when you suddenly slam the brakes on that flow of people into a place like Chiang Mai, the effects are immediate and they are severe.
So this leads us to the number one finding from the research. The single biggest, most immediate impact of the haze is surprisingly simple: a massive drop in customers. It's the very first domino to fall, and believe me, it sets off a pretty painful chain reaction that just ripples through everything.
Yeah, that initial drop in people walking through the door doesn't just stop there. It kicks off this whole cascade of problems for all those small and medium-sized businesses. The hotels, the tour agencies, the little souvenir shops, the very places that are the backbone of the entire local economy.
And you can see here the impact is felt right across the board. The financial hit, the customer hit, that's universal. Everybody feels that pain. But check this out, it's interesting. The hotels and travel agencies also get hammered on their operations and their products. They're forced to actually change how they do business, not just try to get by with less of it.
I mean, this quote from the study itself really says it all. It confirms that the huge drop in customers is what's driving all the other problems. It's simple, right? No customers means no money, and no money forces these businesses into pure survival mode. So how exactly do you survive something like this? It's not like you can just wait for the smoke to clear. Businesses on the ground are forced to adapt, and all of these adaptations come with their own heavy costs.
So here's what that actually looks like in the real world. Hotels are shelling out for expensive air purifiers. Tour guides are scrambling to reroute their trips, desperately trying to find little pockets of cleaner air. Some places even start marketing dust-free rooms as a premium feature. And pretty much everybody is forced to slash their prices, just begging to get anyone through the door.
It is a costly fight on every single front.
Okay, so what's the long-term solution here? Just surviving season to season isn't a plan. Fixing this really needs a two-pronged attack. One that targets the policymakers making the rules, and another that helps the entrepreneurs who have to live by them.
For the policymakers, the research suggests a few really key moves. They've got to get serious about managing forest fires and actually teaching farmers about alternatives to burning their fields. Investing in green public transport would help a ton, and so would giving direct support to businesses, like, say, cutting the electricity bills for places that invest in clean air tech.
And what about the entrepreneurs themselves? Well, the advice is to stop being reactive. You have to start planning for the smoky season like it's a certainty, because it is. That means building up cash reserves to cover those extra costs. It means getting creative with what you offer, maybe develop more indoor activities or health-focused packages that can turn the clean air inside your hotel into a major selling point.
And all of this really brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? The story of Chiang Mai is this incredibly powerful local example of a huge global challenge. It forces us all to ask, how do we build economies that don't end up destroying the very environment that made them so special in the first place? Finding that balance, well, that's not just a question for Thailand. It's a question for all of us.
Thank you for joining us on NoCast by CMUBS. We hope today's episode sparked new ideas and inspired your next steps. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to follow our podcast and stay connected so you won't miss the insights, stories, and meaningful discussions coming up next. Until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and see you in the next episode.